All right, here we go. So first of all, right fan and left fan. This is a left-handed fan in my right hand, and I'll tell you how you can see, how you can tell. I need more coffee. My thumb is touching the bottom stave. So that's how you know you have the fan in the wrong hand. If I'm holding my right-handed fan, my thumb is touching the top stave. And it doesn't matter which way you flip it, right? My thumb is always touching the top stave. So here's my left-handed fan, and my thumb is touching the top stave. So that's number one. If you want to close them, obviously you just kind of close them like so. If you want to hold them open, you squeeze with the thumb muscle here, and then allow the pinky side edge to drop like that, and then just hold it with the pinky. And then, depending on the strength of your hands, they might close a little bit as you're dancing with it. And personally, I don't think that anyone in the audience is going to know, and it doesn't bother me. And then your fingers are just going to get stronger the more you play with these and practice with them. So the first thing that I do, usually when I pick them up, is I hold them with my palms forward and I lift them in the air. When you lift your fans in the air, because they're flat and there's no curve, if you're super backbendy and you open your chest like this, the fans are no longer visible to the audience. So you're going to want to angle the fingers forward. So basically I have my hand like this, and I did that so that the feathers kind of cascade down towards you. If you're doing this and you have an amazing back bend, no one's going to see the fans. So you have to kind of angle them forward a little bit. So this is wrists side by side. You can also cross the wrists like this. Now if you do this, my pinky's pointing up, so the fans might close, right? And if that's something that you want to incorporate in your act, I've done this before. I think it's really neat to have them close for a little bit. My wrists are crossed, and then I bring my pinkies down and my thumbs up, and they open up like so. And once they're here, this is a little different than this. Thumbs are up, it's just wrists are crossed. This actually feels a little more comfortable. Okay, and then I'm still trying to angle them a little bit forward, because usually as a dancer, people are sitting and they're below you. If you do this, they're not going to see anything. All right, sorry this is so wordy. Once my wrists are crossed and I have my thumbs up, you can bring them down like this. Try to keep them, try not to overlap them too much. Try to keep just the ending staves on. And then you have like this neat little skirt thing here. What I think looks really cool, and this is one of my favorite photos. I did a little jump and I popped up this knee, and it made the best photo ever. And I'm not trying to overlap them too much. Try to keep it, because you want to have it almost like as much 360 as possible. So if you do like this, it makes a really cute photo. Right? And then you can switch sides. Did it? Did it? And then once you have them low, my wrists are crossed again. You can cover your body like this and just do a little shakety shake like that. To uncross the wrist, I do this, right? And you can do this a couple of times. I think it's kind of neat. And then once you do this, have them pass in front of each other. And then you can do this. My pinky's absolutely holding them open here. And then you've got an action like this. It kind of reminds me of like a moth or a butterfly. I've never taken an actual burlesque class, so there's probably a term for this. I've never taken a burlesque class because I don't use feathers, and I've never been comfortable around feathers. So taking an actual class from a real feather fan teacher was never going to be something that I wanted to do. So there's probably a name for this. If you know what it is, tell me. And this is just kind of like showing off your body with a frame. You can always do one at a time. Did it? That gives people a little peek. You can also do it like this, where people don't get to see anything, the little tease. What I've been calling the anemone, it comes from putting the hands by your hips, right? And my pinkies are in and my thumbs are out. And this is what it looks like. Okay? And then if you get your arms going, you can do a little pose with the legs. You can slow it down. You can speed it up. And you can switch other leg. Okay. And this is not just my wrist. My elbows are actually going as well. So I'm going to turn around so you can see what my elbows are doing. If I didn't hold the fans, it would be a really ugly dance move. But the fans disguise what the elbows are doing. So this is what my elbows are doing. Right? So my elbows are going out, and my wrists are following, but they're just late. Right? This is the side view. So my elbows are going out. So I don't think of this as just wrist. A lot of times people do this and they just do their wrists, and there's less of a wave. If you do your elbow, if you lead with the elbow, there's a little more dynamicness, right? So this is like mirroring each other, but you can also do side samesies. And so it's, I don't know how to explain this. I'm not doing both elbows at the same time. I'm doing right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow. Right? And you get low, come on up. And then you can do a hug. So one arm has to pass over the other, and the top, both of my thumbs are down. This is so hard to explain. So I'm doing a hug, and I do this. And then, of course, this, if you're facing an audience member, you can do this. Just again, like little wings. Hopefully you've got something to shake. And then you can turn to the side. And then once you turn to the side, you can always do something like this. You've got this back here, which makes a nice backdrop. So what I think is really fun to do is I do a little forward fold where I disguise my face and I peek out the butt. And then you leave the butt out, but you move just the one that's blocking your face out of the way. And then you have this nice little frame here, and you're peeking behind your other fan. My thumb is pointing up. My knuckles are out. And then this is what it would look like on the other side. So if people are on the left and the right side of you, they both get a show. So this side gets the butt, and the other side gets the face. And then the other way you can, instead of having the fans like this, like wings, you can also cross them behind your back. And so what's happening here is my forearms are low, and I'm just flapping my little wings. Right? I have my thumbs up so they stay open. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the back. It's this. Right? There's also a way where you could do it where you flip the pinkies up like that. And then if I'm doing this way, I would try to open them out because this is less circle. This is more of a circle. And if you turn around, it looks like this. Right? And I think what you want to try to do is feel the staves and the feathers on your shoulders. Because if you hold them back like this, in the photos, it looks like the fans are smaller. So feel those feathers touch the back of your head and shoulders. The other fun thing you can do with the fans behind the back is hide them. So I'm going to show you what my hands are doing, but my elbows are out, my thumbs are up. This is what it looks like from the side. Okay. So from the side view, it's pretty cool. I look like an angel, right? From the front view, you don't see anything. From the back, nothing really is happening here. But if you take your fingers, your knuckles, and you spread them apart, it does another similar thing. But the difference between this one and the one that I just showed is you can take a stance, make eye contact, ideally it's somebody that's recording this, and slowly start to open up the fans. And then this resembles what I think like a peacock would do. Okay? I'm going to show you the back view. So here's my stance. I'm shaking them, slowly opening them, and then boom, here it is. They're touching my shoulders. And then if you do this, some sort of movement like this, where you're alternating lifting a shoulder one at a time, like I'm doing figure eights with my shoulders, it looks pretty neat. And then I started to let the feathers drop away from my shoulders. Keep them on your shoulders. Right? And if you do a little funky chicken, that's kind of fun. Right? And then to get out of this, You can do it simultaneously or one at a time. Lead with the thumb, hip, lead with the thumb, hip. And then you're back to this anemone thing. If you have a left and right fan, this is how they look like stacked. This is hard to hold. It's possible. I don't really like how it feels. It feels like it's putting unnecessary pressure on this hinge. That's not a hinge, it's a rivet. So if you're gonna hold them together, just know they're gonna be heavy, but hold the two ones that are closer together. I feel like that is kind of common sense. It just feels better, right? So this is what I do on the ground with these. So however you get on the ground, get on the ground. Right? And then you can just rest your wrist right on the floor here, like that. And then once you're here, you could either, this hand here is on the ground with my elbow on the floor. Right, so my elbow's on the floor. And then once you do this, you know, you've got the leg stuff. If ever you want someone to take a peek, you just let your knuckles drop to the floor, and then you pick it back up, okay? You could also, instead of having your head up, you could just lay flat. So this is what this looks like. And the same thing, legs could do a thing. Okay. And then to get up from this little goddess move, right? Take both of the fans and bring them over. We're going to turn our back to the audience like this. Find the right fan for your right hand, your left fan for your left hand. And then I have my wrists crossed. I'm going to flip around so you can see what's going on here. But then my wrists are crossed, and you can get up on your butt off your feet. So you're doing this like yoga pose. And do that. So from the side, this is what it looked like. So I was over here, I was laying on my back. I turn my back on everybody, and I just take a breath. I find the right fan for the right hand, and then I have my wrists crossed, right? And there's always a moment for this too. You can always do this. This looks kind of cool. And then when you're ready for your back bend, and it doesn't have to be very extreme to be beautiful. Just try to drop your head back, lift your chin a lot. I'm going to lift my butt off my feet. And then my wrists are crossed, and I just bring them up like this while I try to make eye contact. Keyword is try. Okay, and then again, I'm trying not to stack them too much. Try to keep it like tip to tip so that you have a nice, beautiful circle of fake feathers around you. And then to get out of that, I bring stave to stave, and then I make a lunge. And then once you're in this lunge position, you can hide your body, make eye contact. To stand up, I have my fans hiding my hands here. So I put my hand on my thigh, and then I get up. And then you're just putting the fans down like so. And then, you know, doing like whatever you need to get on the ground. Grab stave to stave. I'm going to put my elbow on the floor. Option to lay flat. Goddess up. I'm going to bring both fans to the back. Come onto my knees. Get my bearings. Cross the wrists. Palms are up. Hold this longer. Hold it longer. And then I'm going to stack stave to stave, and I'm going to flip over, get into my lunge. Right? You can hold the fans like this, or you can flip them around. That does take a little bit more practice. You can't see my hand here. It's on my thigh to help me get up. Done. The last thing I want to go over, and this is my first time attempting to teach this on video. I think the reason why this comes easily to me is because I know how to spin poi. And so if if you know flow arts, or if you've ever gone to raves, you know how to do figure eights. What are they called? 3-beat weaves. Like that's kind of, I think, why this next thing comes kind of easy to me. There's this notion of doing weaves with like glow sticks or whatever, glow poi. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. And I've tried to explain it to other people before, and it's a little hard. So thanks for your patience in advance. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my right fan. I know it's my right fan because my right thumb's touching the top stave. And I think what I noticed is sometimes people don't want the feathers to touch them. The feathers can touch you. So that's thing one. Don't be afraid of letting it cross your face. Because if you're doing like this, it just ends up looking like you don't want to have contact with your dance prop. So let's see. Let's try this. If I have my palm pointing down, my pinky's out, my thumb is in, I'm going to lead with the thumb. Now my pinky's up, and then I'm going to lead with the thumb. So this is like a figure eight, right? And you could have your elbow and whole shoulder involved in this, or you could just make it wrist. See, now I'm not even lifting my elbow. It's just my wrist. So I'm going to take the fan out of my hand so you can see what my wrist is doing. It's this. So my thumb is leading the way, right? And that's the elbow at my side. I think if this is challenging for you, if you're having trouble doing this, then keep working on it, because once you can figure this part out, then there's other stuff that can happen, right? So I'm just doing the same wrist circle, leading with the thumb, but I'm just bringing the fan to different parts of my body, right? You can go high, you can go low. In front, behind, in front, up. Okay. So I think all that movement was exactly the same thing. I was just putting the fan at different heights. Left side, in case that helps you. So my knuckles are up, thumb is leading the way. Okay. And this is my elbow kind of involved in it, but you don't need the elbow. And then what if I did want to lift it higher? Then I would kind of bring the arm into it a little bit more. So if you're new to flow arts, if these fans feel awkward to you, my suggestion is if you want to perform with them and you want to do this thing, and doing two hands at the same time is just too much to handle, as you're dancing, go ahead and set one of the fans to the side so you have a nice little background prop, some scenic work, and then you can just do one fan. And that gives you time to do something with your hand. Right? So you don't have to dance with both of them at the same time. This is what it would look like if I did two at the same time. My knee is hurting. Okay, so knuckles. They can cross, or you can just bring the feathers in line with one another, right? And this whole time, I'm not really holding it open with my pinky. I'm just letting gravity keep them open. What if I wanted to go higher? Okay. What if I had just one high and the other one was low?